In the Ottoman Empire, every prince was raised with the hope that he would be the Sultan one day. They had confidence in themselves, and believed that they are the best among their brothers in all aspects. Everyone believed that they were worthy enough to be on the throne and could manage state affairs well. One of the princes, who was raised with this belief, was Savcı Bey, the youngest son of Sultan Murad. The rebellion, which was initiated by Savcı Bey against his father, was one of the most tragic events in the Ottoman Empire. It was not only a prince rebellion, but also pioneered the events that would occur in the future and cause the murder of brothers. Today in this video, you'll get to know about the forgotten story of Savcı Bey, who started the first major rebellious fight in Ottoman history, and was blinded by his father. But before going further, it's our humble request to the viewers to subscribe to the channel, and do like and share the video. A few clicks of yours will not cost you anything, but it will motivate us, and help our channel to grow. We really appreciate and regard your support. And please, give your feedback in the comments section below. Sultan Murad I had three sons, Bayezid, Yaqub, and Savcı. By 1373, as a part of their training, each of these princes was appointed to govern their princely states according to their age order. Şehzade Bayezid was in Kütahya, Yaqub Çelebi in Karachi, and Savcı Bey was in charge of Bursa. Savcı Bey was the youngest of three brothers. He felt himself under the shadow of his older brothers. He felt that he had practically no chance to be enthroned in the future, and might face death under the traditional policy of fratricide in Ottoman succession. He was a clever prince, who had darkening ambitions and a large mass of supporters, which did not escape the attention of his father Murad I. For this reason, he wrote a letter to Bayezid, the eldest of his sons, and asked him to give him information about his brothers. Şehzade Bayezid confirmed his doubts in the response to his letter, and said that Yaqub was very calm and quiet, but Savcı could have made some wrong actions by environmental influence. During this period, Sultan Murad got a situation where he could test his son Savcı. In those years, an agreement was made to make good relations with the Byzantines. Based on this agreement, Sultan Murad I had asked the Byzantine Emperor Palaiologos V for his services against some rebellions in Anatolia, which had caused the disturbance in Ottoman lands. Until he returned from the expedition, Sultan Murad I saw it appropriate to leave the responsibilities of his throne to his younger son Savcı Bey, who was only 14 years old at that time, instead of the older sons. In fact, his aim was to test whether he could trust the prince, or whether the prince could deceive his father or not. In the same period, there were fights between the eldest son of the Byzantine Emperor, Andronikos, and his young son Manuel. The eldest Byzantine prince, Andronikos, had a troubled relationship with his father, so the Byzantine Emperor, John Palaiologos V, announced his younger son Manuel as his crown prince. His eldest son Andronikos felt threatened by the decision of his father. For this reason, he was looking for an opportunity to overthrow his father and seize the throne first. When the Byzantine prince Andronikos got the news that his father is going on a campaign to Anatolia with the Ottoman Sultan, this absence gave him the opportunity to rebel, so he made a plan. The two rebellious princes were well aware of one another's interests. Prince Andronikos contacted Şehzade Savcı in Bursa, and asked him to join this game. It was not very difficult for Prince Andronikos to deceive Şehzade Savcı with this offer, who already considered himself as the Sultan in his heart. So they decided to collaborate and combine their forces. According to the plan, they will unite their forces, and when ready, they will rebel and overthrow their fathers. One will become the Ottoman Sultan, and the other will be the Byzantine Emperor. Even Savcı Bey ignored the warnings of the wise courtier around him, and followed the mind of Andronikos. Andronikos and Şehzade Savcı took action in 1373. One day, Savcı Bey suddenly declared himself as Sultan in Bursa, and Andronikos announced himself as an emperor in Constantinople. After declaring himself as Sultan instead of his father Murad I, Şehzade Savcı even asked to read the sermon under his name. He opened the treasury, and distributed gold to those who support him. Thus, he managed to attract the people who were disloyal to his father, and started to manage the Ottoman lands as he wanted. When Sultan Murad heard about his son's rebellion, he immediately came to the Çanakkale side, to might protect everyone against the expected bloody serial. From there, he wrote a letter to his son Savcı Bey in Bursa, as if he did not know about the rebellion. In the letter, he said that he had set up a tent around Çanakkale, and he would organize hunting here, and he was calling his son Savcı Bey to accompany him. Historians stated that Sultan Murad could go directly to Bursa with the army, but his aim was to settle down the rebellion between the father and son in a soft way, without any bloodshed. It should also be noted that in the early days of the Ottoman Empire, the murder of the brother or son was not seen much as it was seen in the following periods. However, when the letter of Sultan Murad reached the prince, he did not obey the given order, and began to prepare to attack his father. Then Sultan Murad went to Bursa as a last resort. The collision between the armies of the father and the son came across near Bursa. Sultan Murad persuaded the soldiers of Savcı Bey to switch sides, and those who stuck to support Savcı in this rebellion, paid the price of this support with their lives. Though Şehzade Savcı had escaped first, but soon he was caught and brought before his Sultan father. His father Sultan Murad had no idea to execute him. He had already informed him that he would forgive him if he accepted his crime and apologize. But Savcı Bey had no regret for his act of rebellion. Instead of apologizing, he continued to oppose his father with rude and harsh words. He kept on arguing that he should have been the Sultan of the empire. Thereupon, Sultan Murad had given an unprecedented punishment to his son, that had not been seen before in order to eliminate the possibility of placing the throne. Ottoman historians wrote about the incident, that the Sultan closed the world for Savcı Bey. In other words, he blinded his own son by pulling his eyes out. However, to avoid the possibility of doing anything wrong again by Savcı Bey, Sultan Murad changed his mind, and he ordered the execution of his son, for the common benefit of the people. On the other side in the Byzantine Empire, a similar event was happened. The Byzantine prince Andronikos was also defeated in the war against his father's forces, and he surrendered. Prince Andronikos was imprisoned, and according to the Byzantine tradition, he was also blinded as the punishment for rebellion. But luckily, Emperor John showed mercy towards his son Andronikos, and only blinded him in one eye. He declared his younger son Manuel as his heir. Later, even for a short time, Andronikos became the Emperor of Byzantine, as Andronikos IV Palaiologos. This was the first event of a son execution, and the first prince rebellion in the history of the Ottoman Empire. But of course, it wasn't the last.